Rayla is, in Callum's words, a hero. She is brave and strong and determined, although she has a terrible tendency to keep her feelings bottled up inside, instead of revealing them to those around her, those who want to help her. She is willing to risk everything in order to defend what she believes is right. Of course, her idea of what is right has changed drastically over the course of the series. When we first meet her, she believes that it is right to kill Harrow and Ezrin in order to avenge her parents' mistakes. Though her parents are not dead, she wishes they were, as she is incredibly ashamed of them. She believes they abandoned Thunderavazandum and tried to save themselves instead. Of course, as we learn in Season 3, this is not true, but even before Rayla learns the truth, she is well on her way to changing. She is well on her way to redefining her ideals. Though she is determined, she is not close-minded. There is nothing she is not willing to sacrifice in order to help the world at large, in order to do what she believes is right. And therein lies the problem. Well, it is not necessarily a problem per se, but it is certainly a point of tension. It means that of all the characters in The Dragon Prince, she is the most willing to put herself in harm's way. This, of course, opens up the possibility that she is going to die over the course of The Dragon Prince. Is this a terribly likely possibility? What would its repercussions be? How would it affect both the world at large of the Dragon Prince and Callum individually? Let's investigate. While I believe that if any character in the Dragon Prince is going to die, it's going to be Soren, and I've laid out my case as to why in an entire other video, that would be a change in behavior for him. It would complete his transformation from someone primarily fueled by selfish desires to someone who's willing to do what is right for the benefit of the world, even if it requires sacrifice from him personally, even if it leads to his death. Rayla is different. Her willingness to sacrifice herself is caused not just by her altruism and her willingness to put the world above herself, but also by her low self-esteem. The show demonstrates this well in the middle of Season 3. Rayla kisses Callum multiple times during this season, taking the relationship from platonic to romantic. But what is interesting is when exactly these kisses occur. They do not occur when everything is at peace, when they feel a special serene connection and they don't quite know what to say to each other, so they kiss. It's not like that. Not really. Rather, their two most important kisses come right after Callum gives a series of extensive compliments to Rayla. Why is this? Now, it's not like Callum complimenting Rayla causes Rayla to fall in love with him. We already know she is in love with him, even if Callum doesn't, because we saw her nearly admit her feelings for him at the end of Season 2. The thing is that she doesn't want to be vulnerable in front of him because she is afraid he will view that vulnerability as weakness, as so many others have. This is why she feels such a need to prove herself to others. However, when he gives her these compliments, It provides enough of a boost to her self-esteem that she does not feel shame or embarrassment anymore at expressing her feelings for him. That said, her lack of self-esteem remains. She is willing to, at the end of Season 3, push Viren off a cliff, believing it will lead to both of their deaths, just to save the dragon Ozymandias. Thus, she achieves 2 of her goals. For the first time in her short and not very distinguished career as an assassin, she manages to kill someone, and she manages to do it while protecting Ozymandias, the dragon she has sworn to guard. Rayla herself would not have a problem with this being her end. She would be known as someone who fights for what is right, even when doing so causes her death. She's willing to put the matters of the world above her own personal safety. Callum, on the other hand, would not be okay with this. He loves Rayla. She gave his life much more meaning than it had before. He used to be just the awkward, clumsy teenager who thought of himself as the step prince, the kid who lucked into being a royal when his mother married the king. But with Rayla, he has become confident that he can build an identity for himself. Rather than be judged on his position or his status or who his father and stepfather are, he can be judged for him. He can be judged based on his own merits and on what he is trying to accomplish. But this new confidence means nothing if he does not have Rayla. His love for her is deep and true. Arguably, he loves her more than she loves herself. He's willing to do anything to protect Rayla, even if it means his own death. At the end of Season 3, he demonstrates this when he leaps off the cliff in a desperate attempt to save Rayla. Up until this point, he has not yet successfully performed a spell that allows him to grow wings and fly. But apparently, his love for Rayla is so overwhelming that he manages to cast the spell and save them both. This by itself is an impressive achievement. However, what is as impressive is how committed he is to her. This is a major difference between his relationship with Rayla and his relationship with Claudia. With Claudia, even though they were friends from the time they were very, very young, and even though he harbored a crush on her for the longest time, that relationship was underdeveloped, and intentionally so on the part of the show. They did not really know each other. Their bond never really advanced beyond the level of simple friendship and awkward flirtation. However, Callum and Rayla do know each other deeply and truly. They've known each other since long before their relationship became romantic. Likely, Callum would not be willing to do absolutely everything for Claudia. He would want to save her, but he would likely think twice before risking his life for her. But in regards to Rayla, he does not think twice. He does not hesitate. It thus stands to reason that as long as Callum is with Rayla, he will not let her die, at least not without dying himself. Thus, it is likely that if she is going to die, she's going to die during a period of time during which they are separated. I'm not saying they're necessarily going to break up. I do not believe that will happen, at least not permanently. However, if they are separated, whether through their own choices or because of some outside force's influence, there would be no one there to stop Rayla from sacrificing herself for what she believes to be the greater good. Maybe her sacrifice would be enough to stop Viren. Maybe it would even be enough to stop Eryth and guarantee peace between humans and elves. But what if it is not? What if her sacrifice is in vain and the war rages on? That would be the most cutting and brutal development. When characters die, it is easier for us, the audience, to handle that death if it has obvious and apparent meaning. It is much harder to handle when characters do not die for any particular reason, and it is clear that they did not have to die. But even if her sacrifice does help the world and fend off the evil forces threatening to shred what remains of hope and prosperity in this world, Callum is still going to be miserable. Now, the rest of Team Callum will try to cheer him up. They will say she was brave. He will agree. They will say she did what was right. He will respond that maybe she did. But that will do nothing to numb the throbbing pain of losing the person he cares the most about in the entire world. Is it worth saving the world if the bright, shining, radiant new world you create does not include your beloved? Losing Rayla would make for an, at best, bittersweet ending to the Dragon Prince. So thank you for watching. If you liked what you saw today, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Donate to my Patreon if you can, and you want to see more videos like this. Keep watching The Dragon Prince. It is a brilliant, thoughtful, evocative show that is only getting better as it progresses. I really do hope Netflix gives it the full 7 seasons. It deserves it. So tune in soon for my next analysis. It will be coming soon-ish. Thank you all again. Adios, comrades.